Lynae is one of the most versatile units that we have in Withering Waves, and she can fulfill the role of a DPS in your team building or a buffer with the ability to provide universal damage buffs from her kit, attack buffs from specialized Echo Sonata effects, and finally liberation damage amplification, which makes her synergize with liberation damage dealers like Yuno, Shangliao, and Chisa. In today's video, I'm gonna be breaking down Lynae's kit to make it very easy to understand how she works, how much of a damage boost she provides to liberation damage dealers as a Yinlin or Zhengzhen replacement, best weapons per my testing, and finally her best sequences. Before we proceed any further, I want you guys to keep in mind that every footage used in this video was captured on the creator server, so some things may be subject to change upon the official release. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Shackles be gone.
Drive safe! Don't blink! You'll miss the best part! Go! Over here! No! Look! That's all you got! Watch the corner! Guess who? Oh, from the heart.
Lynae's Forte Circuit or Playstyle. She has this Forte bar right here that you need to fill up with these yellow stacks before she can activate this speedometer right here that lies on top of her Forte bar. You can gain yellow stacks by doing basic attacks, but the easiest way is to just use an intro skill, which will give you a very large amount. After the intro, simply spam basic attacks until the third stage or final stage is completed. Then hold your basic attack button to consume the yellow stacks, which deals damage based on the amount of yellow stacks consumed, and fully fill the speedometer gauge right here up to 120. You have full anti-interruption, so don't hesitate to tank some damage while she's charging up. She will now enter the roller skate mode, which you can use to explore. Now all you need to do is jump 3 times, which will give you 3 corresponding stacks with a surprisingly simple name compared to the rest of her kit, called True Color. With 3 True Color, just press Skill or Basic Attack to use a stronger plunge attack called Visual Impact, which grants all her teammates 40 tuned break boost, and it has a 25 seconds cooldown. The tuned break boost will make sense at the tune mechanics section of this video. During the 25 seconds cooldown, if you try to use another plunge attack with 3 True Color, you'll get a weaker version, which basically tickles the enemy. This means that the Sanhua double intro combo, which is normally used in Brand hypercarry teams, will not be very effective here, but there are other ways to do more damage, which I will explain in the rotation section of this video. Tune mechanics. Using an intro skill, the 3 jump attacks that recovers True Color or Visual Impact will apply either Tune Rupture Shifting or Tune Strain Shifting, depending on the one that you selected on her skill screen right here. You can always have 1 stack of each one on the enemy at all times. If the enemy has Tune Rupture Shifting applied on them, using a Tune Break skill by any teammate, which is a QTE, that appears when the enemy's off-tune level is full, will transform 1 Tune Rupture Shifting into Tune Rupture Interfered. So that means Tune Rupture Shifting and Tune Rupture Interfered can exist on one enemy. Keep in mind that you can recover off-tune level by basically doing damage to enemies, but Resonance Liberations will give you a very high amount. Causing Tune Rupture Interfered will deal physical damage, which will be boosted by the 40 Tune Break boost that Lynae gave to everyone including herself after the plunge attack. At the same time, you'll see a big spectral damage right here, which is as a result of the Tune Rupture Interfered that was activated by using a Tune Break skill. This spectral damage is considered as Tune Rupture damage, and it does not scale off the stats that you have, so the damage is fixed depending on the type of enemy that you're facing. The stronger the enemy, the bigger the spectral damage in simple terms. If you have Tune Strain Shifting activated on the skill screen instead, using a Tune Break skill by any teammate will transform the Tune Strain Shifting into Tune Strain Interfered. Keep in mind that you can have Tune Strain Interfered and Tune Strain Shifting on the same enemy. Every stack of Tune Strain Interfered will increase all of Lynae's damage by 0.12% based on the amount of Tune Break boost that she has. Since she can provide 40 Tune Break boost to all teammates including herself, and allows you to have a maximum of 2 Tune Strain Interfered stacks on the enemy, you'll get a maximum of 9.6% damage bonus to all her damage types, which is awful. And not to mention that you'll need another character that can allow you to stack off tune level quickly so that you can use the tune break skill multiple times to get more stacks of tune strain interfered. So stick with tune rupture interfered for now. Resonance Liberation. Casting her Liberation will grant 24% all-type damage bonus to all teammates. If you press the basic attack right after, she'll summon the Expedition Bike, which looks cool, but you'll rarely use it in endgame content to save yourself some time. Team Building. Lynae has an Ultra skill that amplifies the incoming Resonator's all-type damage by 15%, which means that she can be a universal sub-DPS buffer if we take the 48% damage bonus that she can grant from her weapon and Liberation into consideration. But the following team compositions will perform better due to the additional Liberation damage amplification. Hypercarry S3 Kaucharu damage increased by about 12.4% more than the S0R1 Yinlin team. He was also secretly buffed by the introduction of the off-tune mechanic because his Liberation gives an incredible amount of off-tune level, but this will be in a separate video because I don't want to cause any more confusion since the off-tune mechanic is pretty new. Hypercarry Shankly Yao's damage increased by about 14.7% more than the S0R1 Yinlin team. Hypercarry Lynae exceeded my expectations, but after testing things out for quite some time, I realized that you'll have to modify your rotations in such a way that'll allow you to spam Sano's Liberation twice in one rotation so that you can get more nukes from the Tune Rupture damage that comes from the Tune Break skill. Hypercarry Yuno is now even better because she does more damage per second due to Lynae's faster field time and high damage contribution compared to using Zhengzhen or Yinlin. Finally, Hypercarry Chisa also did really well, and Lynae solves Chisa's high resonance energy demand when playing her as a Hypercarry because Lynae's forte and skill regenerates a lot of resonance energy for herself and her teammates. These are just a few teams that I tested, but feel free to run Lynae with other DPS units as long as they don't depend on negative statuses or echo skill casts to do damage. A very good example is Lynae, Yuno, and Augusta to save you Showkeeper for other team compositions. Showcases for all the teams that I can think of will be uploaded very soon on the channel. Now let's cover her build. Weapon priorities will be based on this sheet right here, which is a record of the damage output from the pistols that she synergized with. If you cannot afford her signature weapon, your first priority will be the new standard weapon, Phasic Homogenizer. There was a damage loss of 9.22% compared to her signature weapon, but only when the passive is active, which can be problematic. The weapon wants anyone in the team to cast Tune Break skill before Lynae will get the 20% all-type attribute damage bonus at R1. When you're up against multi-wave enemies, it's much easier because you build off-tune level much faster, but against bosses, you build off-tune level much slower, so you mostly get the buff after the first rotation, which can even run out before you intro to Lynae to do damage in the second rotation due to the 14 seconds buff duration, assuming you don't have any unit that speeds up off-tune level build-up. Second priority will be Galbrenna's signature weapon. There was a damage loss of 14.85% compared to her signature weapon. Third priority will be Carlotta's signature, which was not far behind Galbrenna's with a damage loss of 15.32% compared to her signature weapon. Fourth priority will be Static Mist, which had a damage loss of 19.8%. And the last priority will be Chikona's signature weapon, which encountered a damage loss of 23% compared to her signature weapon. For her echoes, you should be running the 5-piece Pact of Neon Light Leap for sub-DPS Lynae and 5-piece Rite of Gilded Revelation for DPS Lynae. Your echo formation for both sets will be 4-3-3-1-1. For Pact of Neon Light, the focus will be crit rate or crit damage Hivatia as your main echo depending on the substats that you have on your weapon. So if you have crit rate on your weapon, go with crit damage and vice versa. For Rite of Gilded Revelation, go with Hivatia as well as your 4-cost echo, which will be opposite to the crit substats that you have on your weapon, just like the sub-DPS build that I mentioned earlier, but the Twin Nova Nebulous Cannon 3 cost should be your main echo. All the 3 costs should be double spectral damage bonus for both sets, and all the 1 cost should be attack percentage for both sets as well. I strongly advised against farming the DPS sets right away after version 3.0 goes live, because it was acting weird during testing. Doing basic attacks will allow you to get the 30% spectral damage bonus from the 5-piece set. However, after casting Liberation, the 40% basic attack damage bonus was not showing up on her stat screen. So let me confirm this on the public server first. Before you start farming the Rite of Gilded Revelation, substat priority will be crit rate, crit damage, and basic attack damage bonus. Talent priority will be Forte Circuit, normal attack, liberation, skill, and intro skill. Rotations. I'll be covering the rotations for sub DPS and hyper carry Lynae. Sub DPS is the simplest one, so I won't spend that much time on that. Here's the build that I'll be using on all teammates. We first start with Showkeeper's skill and swap to Yuno to use her skill 2 times. Go back to Showkeeper and basic attack to generate 40 stacks. Consume it with heavy attacks whenever they are full until you get at least 70% of her concerto filled up. I made an error here and used our liberation too early before I had 70% or more concerto, so I ended up wasting a few seconds of the liberation uptime by doing basic attacks to fill her concerto energy after casting the liberation. Now, Echo skill and intro with Lynae. Basic attack until her stacks are full and use her liberation. Hold basic attack until she attacks the enemy automatically. Jump 3 times, basic attack to plunge, and use skill to get resonance energy. Echo skill, intro with Yuno, press skill, basic attack until she gets full 40 stacks. Jump to enter the damage dealing mode, press skill 2 times, basic attack once, cast her liberation to fully refresh her 40 stacks. Then spam basic attacks until the 40 stacks are depleted. Hold basic attack, intro with Showkeeper, and repeat the rotation. For hypercarry Lynae, her normal rotation in the sub DPS team composition will do less damage per second because of her short on-field time, which will make you encounter liberation cooldown issues when using Showkeeper, for example, like Jinxie teams. The slow off-tune level buildup is also a problem, so we will be rotating in a way that allows us to spam Sanwa's liberation as much as possible to help us build more off-tune level so that we can use the tune break skill after every rotation to do more spectral tune rupture damage. We first start with Showkeeper's skill and swap to Sanwa to use her liberation, skill, and Forte Circuit. You don't have to perform the quick detonation tech if you cannot manage that. Just cast liberation, skill, and heavy attack. Now go back to Showkeeper to fill her concerto energy with basic attacks and consume them with heavy attacks. Use her liberation when she has at least 70% of her concerto energy filled up, echo skill, and intro with Lynae. Basic attack 3 times to get the 30% spectral damage bonus from the DPS echo set, skill, and use her echo skill. We are doing this to buy ourselves some time until Sanwa's liberation is off cooldown. Swap to Sanwa and use her liberation, skill, and heavy attack again to get more off-tune level. Echo skill and intro with Lynae. Basic attack 3 times to get the 30% spectral damage bonus from her DPS echo set and cast her liberation to get the 40% basic attack damage bonus. Hold basic attack until she automatically attacks the enemy. Press jump 3 times, basic attack to plunge, skill, cast tune break skill, echo skill, and intro with Showkeeper. Now rinse and repeat the rotation from the beginning. Sequences. With S1, the jump attacks that generates true color will now hit much harder. Tune rupture and tune strain shifting will now last longer after the plunge attack that does big damage. It also increases anti-interruption when using the midair jump attacks and the plunge attack that does huge damage. She can now get yellow stacks by staying out of combat, which is only useful in the overworld. S2 amplifies all her damage types and the damage of the incoming character by 25%. This is her best early sequence. For S3, plunge attacks from the Forte circuit will now hit much harder. When Lynae is in the roller skating mode, her skill can now nuke, but only if you get S6, which increases the max stacks of the speedometer gauge right here, or else it'll be difficult to keep it at 120 or above. For S4, why? It should have been something much more powerful considering the investment that you have to make to get there. For S5, her liberation will now hit a little bit harder. S6 changes her playstyle by a lot. The 120 stacks in the speedometer gauge will now increase to 360, which makes you spam the jump attacks more often. Her mid-air heavy attack gets reset after every jump attack while in the skateboard mode. So instead of simply pressing jump 3 times and plunge, you now have to use mid-air heavy attack after every jump so that the plunge attack will receive a damage bonus of 90%. That'll be all for my Lynae character breakdown. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel because it's free and you can always change your mind. Our Discord link will be in the pinned comment if you're having any issues with the game, help with your build, or you just want a place to chill or hang out. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.